In 2017, a panicked, totally freaked out 21-year-old woman checks into a hospital in Italy. Her face and her hands are completely covered in blood. It's like a horror movie. She says she has no injuries, but the blood is hers.
As insane as her story sounds, two doctors, Roberto Maglier and Marzia Caproni, examine her. And after they complete their examination, they realize, yes, no cuts, no bruises, but all the blood that is on this woman's body is her own blood. So where is this blood actually coming from?
The doctors discover that she's not bleeding. She's sweating blood.
Stories of people sweating blood go as far back as the 3rd century BCE. Aristotle describes people sweating blood through their own pores.
Then, in the 17th century, a Belgian doctor writes about a man who, when he was condemned to death, sweated blood in this frantic and heightened state.
Even in the Bible, in the book of Luke, there's a scene that's described as Jesus starting to sweat blood while he's praying in the Garden of Gethsemane right before the crucifixion.
But while historical accounts of sweating blood may have simply been colorful language, the woman in Italy is very real.
So after the doctors examined this woman, they ended up diagnosing her with a condition called hematohidrosis.
This is an incredibly rare condition. I mean, there's only a handful of confirmed cases in the world, and almost everything about it is a mystery.
Some scientists believe that the blood is actually secreting through the sweat glands. Others believe that it secretes through the follicles or the pores, but we just don't know.
What's really interesting is that it might explain some cases of stigmata that have been documented throughout history, in which people spontaneously have appear on them the wounds that Christ received on the cross.
Others have suggested that it's a curse, but until we have a definitive medical explanation, there's not really anything that we can rule out.
The fact that we don't understand what this really is means there is also no cure. The best they can do is offer blood pressure medication, which does reduce the effect a little bit, but at the end of the day, she's still sweating blood.
Coming up, what if the
Convent isn't what I would necessarily call pleasant.
It's isolating, and they spend their time praying, working. The priests frequently set them to manual labor tasks, which results in total exhaustion.
If they complain, they were told they have a lifetime of fire and brimstone and punishment for the petulance.
But according to a doctor named Jerome Carden, in a Saxony convent, one of the nuns snaps.
She just starts uncontrollably biting other nuns.
And before the priest can intervene, the other nuns also start biting each other. And before you know it, it's a giant bite fest.
The priests fear the worst. A demonic possession is spreading, and so they begin performing exorcisms.
But it only makes things worse.
Within days, almost every nun in the convent is infected with this demonic biting nun disease.
And what's worse is that these priests are now concerned that this biting epidemic might go beyond the walls of this convent in Saxony.
Within a few weeks, the priests in Saxony learn that nuns from Amsterdam to Rome have picked up the same bad habit.
So these priests start thinking to themselves, this can't just be demonic possession. This has to be the devil himself coming to possess all of Europe.
Now the priests are starting to get desperate. Prayers aren't working, exorcisms aren't working, nothing is stopping these possessions.
Time to go to plan B. Old school flogging and dunking a nun's head inside of ice-cold water.
And it works.
The affliction stopped, and the curse, your crucifix. 500 years later, another dental condition strikes the clergy, with more explosive consequences.
It's 1817, and a Pennsylvania reverend known as D.A. is suddenly suffering from a terrible, terrible toothache. So bad he's about to lose his mind.
Woman in 1855.
Boogie teeth epidemic. The best way to
Pretty tame. Coming. Just first drink.
Where?
always a desperate search for the cause. But what if the cause were as simple as watching TV?
In Japan, on December 16th, 1997, this incredibly unusual scenario plays out. All over the country, children are suddenly being rushed to hospitals.
The girl's laughter is uncontrollable.
There's still no explanation.
When he reviews the
All around you.
Until she noticed to hear things.
In 2007, a man in Marseille, France, goes to the doctor. He's 44 years old.
Whether they affect the body or the mind,
Teens share everything, but through certain everyday behaviors, they could also be sharing bacteria that can cause meningitis. Even if your teen has been vaccinated in the past, they could be missing vaccinations recommended by the CDC against certain groups of meningitis. Although uncommon, it's a serious disease. Once symptoms appear, death can occur, sometimes within 24 hours.